In one of Scump's most recent streams, people were going through asking him questions, all sorts of things. What do you think about the Cold War maps? What do you think? Like, what are your expectations leading into CDL 2021? So on and so forth. There was a ton of stuff being asked. But one thing that really stood out to me and some others in the community is, what does he think about the CDL switching over to PC? So if you didn't catch that story, came out a couple weeks ago that CDL was going from console over to PC. You would still be using a controller, but now you're using a controller on PC instead of PS4. So in this reply that he gives us here, he touches on a few things. That is one of them, but also some of the negative aspects that might come from that. So let's go ahead. Let's listen into what he has to say in this clip. It's like a minute long, and then we'll discuss what he's actually saying after we go through and listen to it.
Plus, CDL is going to PC, so it's a step up. Yeah, definitely a step in the right direction. Better frames. I mean, the one thing that could go wrong is the hackers. I mean, if there's hackers, like, I mean, any kind of competitive playlist is chalked. You know, that's definitely something to worry about. That is going to be very annoying if hackers just run rampant in all the like ranked play, whatever playlists. I mean, it's chalked. It's literally just chalked. Like, if there's hackers, it's chalked. So I hope not.
So in that reply there, we heard a few things. He touched on the benefits just very briefly at the beginning. Obviously, you're going to have an insane difference when it comes to things like refresh rate. For me personally, I've been somebody that played console the vast majority of my life until just a few years ago. I started making the switch over towards PC. I still play with a controller. I actually have the Xbox Elite Controller Series 2. So that's what I play all my games with. But I do have a PS4. When the beta was on PS4 just a couple weeks ago, I tried to go back and play, and I couldn't see. It was making me like motion sick. I was all over the place. So this last weekend, when it was on PC and Xbox, I finally got to play on PC. It just felt so much better. And that's just one of the benefits that comes with playing the beta and playing CDL in 2021 on PC. You can see in a better resolution, the refresh rate. I mean, there's stuff all over the place. But the negative part of that is that obviously with every game, especially in Call of Duty without an anti-cheat, these issues tend to run rampant. So what he focused on there is, if there's any sort of league play or ranked playlist, if there's not an anti-cheat, such as what you have in basically every other competitive game that's a shooter like this, the cheaters are just going to be going crazy, right? So that's where his initial standpoint is how are you going to have a league play or something like that without an anti-cheat? And then even so, we're now seeing the scandals that are going on at professional levels when it comes to CSGO and the different glitches that they were taking advantage of and all of that stuff. So there's definitely more issues like that come into play as soon as you start switching over to PC, when that stuff doesn't really exist too much on PS4 or consoles in general. So the first thing he talks about is obviously what's going to happen with those hackers with that scenario, because if they're there, we're going to have issues all over the place. Now, I will say that even thinking back to Warzone, most people, when they talk about hackers inside of Call of Duty, refer back to what's going on in Warzone. We found out very early, some of the first tournaments when it came to Warzone, is that if you had a console host, there's a great chance, or there's a much better chance, that inside that lobby are going to be others that are playing on console, or at least playing on controller. So I know for me personally, a lot of my friends played on PS4 while I was playing over on console. And since there was cross-platform in Warzone, we would just make sure that every time we wanted to play Warzone, we had a console host. And that basically saved you from hackers. Every once in a while, maybe once a week, you would run into one. But if you had a console host, you basically avoided hackers in Warzone 99% of the time. Now, if you're playing on on PC and you have a PC host, then you would run into them much more often. If you watch any of those big time streamers with like Courage or Nick Merckx or anybody like that, they're always running into different hackers here and there just because they have that PC host. So with the way that the CDL is going, obviously if you're doing scrims or something in a closed lobby, then it's not going to be an issue. But if you are looking forward to a ranked play or a league play, such as I am, I might play pubs for the first 2 or 3 weeks just to get an idea in terms of how does control work on each of the maps. Once the competitive maps and modes do come out, how does hardpoint, how do rotations work on those maps and stuff like that. But after that, you'll want to start diving into league play and ranked play, right? I mean, you can only play, at least somebody like me that's been playing competitive for so long, I can only grind those public match lobbies for so long before I eventually want to go into league play and start seeing how I rank up in terms of the competitive community. So if there's no anti-cheat and hackers start running crazy, running wild, especially with the move over to PC, that's going to take away from it. People aren't going to want to play. People aren't going to want to grind it, and we'll see where it goes from there. But I just thought it was interesting that in Scump's response, the very first thing that he talks about is, well, yeah, there's some benefits, refresh rate, your resolution's much better, so on and so forth. But the vast majority of that minute-long response was focused on hackers just because as soon as you start to play Warzone and other modes on PC, that's what comes to fruition. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully there's something announced. Hopefully there's a leak play announced somewhat soon. We haven't heard any regards to that whatsoever yet, but hopefully it's coming. It seems like it's coming, but that'll come down the line. But in the comments down below, what do you guys think? I know that this is a really hot topic. It's on the subreddit. I kind of see it on Twitter and social media over the place. So do you think that this will be an issue? Or if it is an issue, will you just stick to public matches where hackers might not show up all that much? Let me know down below. Thank you guys so much for checking out another episode. If you're new around here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Leave a like. It always helps out the channel with that. Thank you guys so much. We will see you in tomorrow's upload.